everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Crystal Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course, we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campia.
Buongiorno a tutti, Forza Italia, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are so glad you decided to join us. Coming to you live from the Stream.tv studios here in Hollywood, California. I'm really excited about today's show.
We also have joining us AMC Movie News Editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey guys, happy to be back, and welcome back, John. And
Thank
John,
you.
We have the whole crew back together again.
And we also have AMC's Mary Jetikin.
I've had about 2.5 cups of coffee, so everybody just look out.
Right.
And the director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, Mr. John Schnapp.
Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? Been having some more coffee.
All right, in the wake of the rumored DC Justice League Universe lineup that came out last week, a new rumor has surfaced. According to the new rumor, Game of Thrones star Jason Momoa has been cast as Aquaman and will appear in the upcoming Batman vs. Superman movie later in Justice League. John, could this rumor be true? And if so, what do you think about it?
Could it be true? Okay, girls, easy. The whole time Chrissy's talking, the girl's like, ah! Okay, so anyway. Could the Jason Momoa thing be true? Absolutely, it could be true. There have actually been rumors about Momoa as Aquaman going on for about 5-6 months. And to be honest, as you remember, I've been a long time mocker of Aquaman and anybody that likes Aquaman until I started reading the New 52 because the fans encouraged me to start reading, and I did, and the portrayal of Aquaman in the Injustice Gods Among Us stuff. That is a bad-ass character. And when you look at those incarnations of him, Jason Momoa is a great fit. I think he would bring everything right. And I've said for a long time, I believe, despite the fact that he's been in some really crappy stuff, I think he's got solid acting chops. He's got Arnold-like charisma. When you talk to him in person, that you will like him. You can hate everything about Jason Momoa. Sit you in a room with him for 5 minutes, you will walk out a Jason Momoa fan. He's just infinitely likable. This is cool. However, keep this in mind. I know a lot of places are running around, had a lot of people tweeting me say, John, did you hear it's confirmed? Did you hear it's confirmed? It is not confirmed. Now, a site that I am a big fan of, which is HitFix. I'm a big fan of HitFix. I've got a lot of friends work over there. They are one of the most credible and solid sites out there. Let me say that right up front. Now, they're the ones who said, we can confirm that he is. Well, until it comes from Warner Brothers, until it comes from Zack Snyder, whatever, or until it comes from Momoa's mouth himself, it is not confirmed. It's still just a rumor at this point. Because remember, we all get things wrong. And this is the same site that told us about 1.5 years ago that we can absolutely tell you that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to be Batman in the preceding DC universe. Well, that didn't quite work out. That just goes to show that even the most credible and most solid of sites, like a HitFix is, can be wrong about these things. So just until we hear it, let's say it's a rumor. Okay, then, let's go with the rumor. It's good. And especially if they go with keeping his role in if they keep his role in Batman v Superman small, so that it doesn't cloud the Batman versus Superman action, and then just set him up for future films, that's really cool. But here's another contradiction. Nikki Fink just launched her new site. She said that Aquaman is not going to be in Batman versus Superman. The HitFix report says he is going to be in Batman v Superman. So already we don't know what we can think and what we can believe. But as a theory, I dig it. Schnepp, what do you think?
Well, a little bird told me like 3 months ago that Jason Momoa was confirmed, but I didn't hear what he was confirmed for. I knew he was going to be in the Batman vs Superman movie, but as which role was not confirmed. So I know it's not confirmed, but I think it's true, and I think if it is true, it's awesome. He'll be a lot better as Aquaman than as like the other people were the Martian Manhunter, and I was like, no, they're not going to put Martian Manhunter in there. And then the other one was Green Lantern, like a reboot of Green Lantern. I think out of those 3 characters that were left that are not cast yet, Momoa, that sounds great. It sounds like plausible to work that, the destruction of Metropolis and the world smasher or whatever it was called on the other side, destroying the Indian Ocean, pissing off Aquaman and the other 75% of the liquidy people who live on Earth, So it makes sense. I'm all for it. I hope it's true.
Now, interesting enough that you bring up Martian Manhunter, because Jeff Schneider over at The Wrap, another really solid news source, is claiming that he got his hands on an agency tech sheet that shows that Martian Manhunter is in Batman v Superman and Justice League. So I mean, who knows what's going on? Anyway, Miri, your thoughts on this whole thing?
Agree, it's just a rumor, so what do we know? But I would be happy with the casting choice if they did decide to go this route. And another thing that I want to mention that we're kind of touching on is that with rumor, you don't know how much people are going to be in the film. Like this is all rumor, so we don't know if he's going to be in it or not. If he is in it, we don't know the extent to which he's going to be in it. This could be a great film. I mean, X-Men Days of Future Past had a ton of characters, and they did it really well. Amazing Spider-Man 2 had a ton of characters, didn't do it so well. So there's a way that they can do it well. It might be a cameo. He might have more of a role. At best, it'll be a supporting role. So I think it also depends on exactly how much he's in the film. Like, is he a central character? Like you were saying, does he come about because Zod destroyed the Indian Ocean and whatever, or is he just kind of a cameo? We don't know. We don't know anything yet, so it's hard to say.
Amy Rose?
I am also on the Jason Momoa train, not just because he's absolutely
And I don't ever want to get off.
Please, please.
All day long.
All day long, every day, all day. But yeah, pulling it back here, he is really talented, I agree. He's been really good in some bad movies. I interviewed him for Conan. I didn't just enjoy it because I was staring into his green eyes. He's just really intelligent and really articulate, and I really want him to be successful. And this would make a lot more sense, you know, how he turned down, you know, a character in the Marvel, because he had maybe a larger future with a DC property. Maybe. I'm just pulling for the guy. I did personally want him to be Lobo for some odd reason. I thought that would have been a really good, you know, character fit for him.
But I want him in water. Let's put him in the water. Sorry. Let's just put Jason. Just get in the water.
I like where your head's at, so I'm fully on board with this. But yeah, I just want to see him in this universe as well. And you know, it is just a rumor. We won't get too excited about it yet, but I do think the guy would hold his own with a whole troop of superheroes on the big screen, and that's someone I want in a larger-than-life character like Aquaman.
Interesting thing about Momoa, you meet all these Hollywood people doing what we do, and a lot of them are just fake and tinny, whatever. You know, they're just doing their job. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is the thing about how infinitely likable this guy is. So I meet him for the first time on the red carpet, actually, of Conan. And we talk on the red carpet. And then later, we're at the after party. And he actually comes up behind me, taps, and Ann is with me, right? Ann's with me. Comes behind, taps me on the shoulder. And he remembers, number one, he remembers, John, I just want to say, I think I like the way you're rocking that suit. It looks really good, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, and I just want to say your wife looks really lovely tonight, too. Walked away. And as he walked away, it's like Ann's brain function stopped, and she just naturally, like a moth to an open flame. I'm like having to hold her arm and stuff like that. But
well, that's probably a pass. Come on.
Yeah, I give her a pass on that. All right, what's next?
The weekend box office numbers are in, and we have an upset. The R-rated comedy 22 Jump Street took the #1 spot, making over $60 million this weekend, with the family-friendly How to Train Your Dragon 2 coming in second with just over $50 million. In third place is Maleficent with $19 million, bringing its worldwide total up to $436 million. In fourth place is Edge of Tomorrow, making $16 million, and rounding out the top 5 is Fault in Our Stars, making just over $15 million. Amy Rose, what jumps out at you about the weekend box office report?
Obviously that How to Train Your Dragon did not take the #1 spot, because animated films like that are notorious for pretty much owning the box office. And I'm really happy that it didn't, because 22 Jump Street was pretty hilarious, and it proved again, Chris Miller, Phil Lord, they are just in the stride of their lives right now. The last 4 films have been not just good, but great. And this film, I like how self-aware it was. I like how it was just like, yeah, we're a comedy. We're not going to be as clever. It's going to cost more money, but we're going to do it big. And like they did. And the bromance just got better and better between them. So I'm really thrilled about that. But, you know, How to Train Your Dragon, I know someone to my right really loved the movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'll probably take the nephews to it. But another interesting thing about the box office report is that Edge of Tomorrow beat out Fault in Your Stars, which I thought was interesting, because that's a really big drop for Fault in Your Stars.
67%.
Almost 70% drop.
So that's also really surprising, and I'm glad. I thought this would happen with Edge of Tomorrow, because we were all like, it was phenomenal, and it didn't open very strong, but I was hoping that second and third weeks would stay pretty steady, because word of mouth has been fantastic. So it is a little more obscure, we'll call it, of a box office report than I would have predicted.
I finally saw, I'm a little late to the gravy train, but I went to go see How to Train Your Dragon 2 last night, and I put up on Twitter and I'll give you the short versions of the words. I said, holy FS, but I said the full words. Holy FS, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is wonderful. In parentheses, I wonder if they will use my quote on their poster. Seriously, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is awesome. It's awesome. It's not good, it's awesome. And instantly people are asking me, well, is it as good as Lego Movie? And now I'm like a deer in headlights. I don't know, because these are two very different movies, but they're two, just go see it. But no, 22 Jump Street, so excited to see it make $60 million opening weekend for an R-rated comedy. That's fantastic, but the big thing is what Amy Rose brought up. Fault in Our Stars, very well reviewed. People loved it. It dropped almost 70% at the box office. And while it finished way ahead of Edge of Tomorrow last week, this week Edge of Tomorrow, because of good positive word of mouth, only drops 43% and actually takes the lead. So that's pretty interesting too. Anyway, Mary, what jumped out at you about these box office numbers?
The Fault drop definitely jumped out at me, and I think it's proof that it had a very eager audience, fan base that wanted to go see it. They went and saw it, and now it's kind of done.
It's not a movie with high rewatchability.
No, I think it's the everybody jokes about the crying. That's like a meme now. It's like, oh, we saw Falls in Our Stars. Here's our crying face. But I'm happy to see that Edge is holding steady, and I also think it's interesting that the two films in the top two spots are sequels, because I think the suits in studios are going to be like, you see, sequels make money, but I think the fact is,
and they can be good.
But that's it. They're good, and I think that's really the bottom line, is that these are two really solid films. I haven't seen Dragons yet. I'm so excited to see How to Train Your Dragon 2. I can't wait. But 22 Jump Street I loved, and I'm happy to see an R-rated comedy in the #1 spot. And also, it was great. The only one that beat it of all time was The Hangover 2, made a little bit more at the box office its opening weekend.
Which is a shame.
Which was not a good movie. So here's to good sequels that are R-rated and comedies and fun, and I'm happy that it.
Schnepp, anything jump out at you?
Maleficent. Being number 3, which was pretty shocking to me. I was like, that movie's already like, what is this? Its third one?
Third or fourth?
Third or fourth, and it's still hanging in there. I actually saw 22 Jump Street and Maleficent and Edge of Tomorrow this weekend, just trying to catch up. And boy, Edge of Tomorrow is fantastic. A great, amazing science fiction film. Please go see it if you haven't seen it. I thought Maleficent was a great family film. I liked it okay, but I think I see it as why it's maintaining its because it's good to bring everybody.
Third week, over $430 million
really
worldwide
impressive.
already in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's Angelina Jolie's second biggest opening ever, after I think Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I thought it was its biggest. I thought it was her biggest.
I think it's her second.
I'll have to look that up. It's one
Or
of the
maybe it was, and now it's her biggest. I don't know.
And 22 Jump Street is fantastic. Really funny. I still edging it. I still like 21 Jump Street
Me too.
better.
So do I.
Yeah.
But
I'm on the 22 side. Actually,
but this one was
they're close.
Created enough laughs for me to really, really love it. Especially the ending. You have to stay for the whole thing.
Oh yeah, all the credit
And
stuff.
holy freaking sandwich is what he
Yes,
said.
freaking sandwich was what I said in my tweet.
That's actually a good versus topic. Which one's the better, 21 or 22?
We can look
I
at
think
that.
we'd be split.
Might be. It would be very tight. All right, folks, listen, we've reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And then Schnepp, Miri, Amy Rose, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
According to a report from The Hollywood Reporter, the creative team behind the TV show Smallville, Alfred Goh and Miles Millar, have sold their spec script for a Captain Nemo movie to Sony's Columbia Pictures. The project already has Maleficent producers Joe Roth and Palak Patel set to produce. Miri, buy or sell the idea of a Captain Nemo film?
I'm going to tentatively buy this one because the writers of the script also had some work on the Spider-Man 2 script, the original Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire script, and that was a really, really good script. So I have high hopes for that. Also, these producers are obviously very prolific in Hollywood. They work a lot, so they know what they're doing. And Captain Nemo is a cool character. I'm a little bummed because I think there was a 20,000 Leagues adaptation that was supposed to be done with Fincher.
Well, Fincher was attached, and I think McGee was also attached.
Yeah, but let's just talk about Fincher.
Yeah, I'm saying, but it was the same thing.
Yes, it was the same thing, and that would have been really cool to see. I'm kind of bummed because this means that probably won't happen. But I'm going to tentatively buy it. Again, we don't have a director yet, and we don't have a star, so a lot is going to be riding on that. But I'm going to be optimistic and say I'm going to tentatively buy it.
I'm going to buy this for the two reasons that, number one, Nemo's a very cool character. Yeah. But number two, what I like about these guys is that one of the strengths of Smallville was that it could have been just another flash bang, look at the big action sequence TV show, but rather it captured the nuances about really what it was to be Superman at that age, the whole struggle of being an alien from another world and you just don't belong here. And I thought they captured that well. If they can bring those same types of nuances to Nemo, I think that'd be pretty interesting. Schnepp?
Except Smallville lasted 10 years.
Yeah, yes.
The only problem I had. Excuse me. Let me drink some water. Yeah, I buy it. That's all I gotta say.
Amy Rose?
I'm also gonna buy it, not very enthusiastically, but mostly because of the content that could be created. Because the character is great, and we're always in need of that. So I think it's good. All the names attached, sure, interesting, but I can't say I'm jumping up and down. But the director, whoever they get to lock that,
That would be
I think
key.
will show where
Fincher.
my enthusiasm. I mean, just get Fincher for everything you want.
Yeah.
So.
All right, what's next?
The next story contains a very minor spoiler for Captain America the Winter Soldier, so be warned. In a recent interview with our friends at Collider, actor Frank Grillo seemed to confirm that he and his character Brock Rumlow, aka Crossbones, would return for Captain America 3. Grillo said the following: "I'm cautiously optimistic that you will see me in the not too distant future in the next installment of Captain America. We've had multiple discussions about what comes after that thing. So, it's obvious Rumlow is covered in rubble and burned to a crisp at the end, but you see he's still there. They don't do that for no reason. Jeanette, buy or sell that Crossbone will be back for Captain America 3.
I'll buy it. I don't think he's going to be a major character in it. I'm sure that, Red Skull didn't show up for Captain America 2, and we know he's not dead. He just got beamed somewhere.
Yeah.
So whether or not they want to bring him back, I don't think he's going to be the main character. I could see him coming back, though.
Mary?
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy it too for the same reason that Grillo points out. It's like they went out of their way to show that scene of him very charred and burnt up, being carried away in a stretcher. They didn't have to put that scene in there. I think there's a purpose behind it. I totally believe he's going to be in the next one.
Yeah, I buy it as well, and I loved that last scene between Falcon and him, and it was really great. And yeah,
You're out of your depth, kid.
yeah, it's like
love
really
Grillo.
Falcon out. So yeah, I think it was really good and intentional. We know that Marvel doesn't just leave things open-ended without intention at this point. So yeah, and he was a good character. He wasn't very dominant in the first one either, so I think it'll be kind of a similar role, but getting more evil.
All right, what's next?
A Magic the Gathering movie continues to build up steam over at Fox. According to reports, Fox has just hired Game of Thrones co-producer and writer Brian Cogman to pen the script for Magic the Gathering. John, buy or sell Cogman writing Magic the Gathering?
I'm going to buy this for one main reason. Cogman, besides being a story editor for a couple of the seasons on Game of Thrones, he also wrote 4 episodes. But one of those 4 episodes was The Laws of Gods and Men, the one that was just recently on, where Tyrion gives his big speech at his trial. He wrote that.
Yeah.
So you could do, like I said, hashtag go for porn the movie, and I'm in if he's writing it. After that one speech, I'm totally in. Amy Rose?
Yeah, last time this came up, I was like, Magic the Gathering, I don't really need this, even though I love Magic, but based off the game, whatever, even though it was rich. But yeah, with him on board, I am now really passionate about it. Game of Thrones is one of the best shows ever, also the Beck book series, so I'm in.
We gone around?
I'll buy it. I'll buy it for the same reason he said. Game of Thrones writer. Bam.
All right.
Wait, what about
Oh,
me?
I see it.
You forgot me.
I lost my place. I forgot where we were.
I'm gonna buy it also because Simon Kinberg, they're calling the franchise engineer of this, which I love because I think franchises should have engineers at their helm. And Simon Kinberg really knows what he's doing. I mean, he's worked on X-Men and all that stuff, so I buy as well.
All right, folks, so we now reach that part of the show for mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, for those of you who are watching us live, and we do the show live every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can tweet in some questions right now to @AMC Movie News, and Chris Lee will be our gatekeeper. She'll pick some questions out, and we'll leave a few minutes at the end of the show to address your live Twitter questions. But for now, it's time for mailbag. So, Chris Lee, what's in there?
Christopher Cook writes, "Hey everyone at AMC, I love the show and enjoy watching fellow movie nerds talk about movies. My question is, what do you think the best year ever for movies is? Personally, my favorite, in opinion, is 1994, as it has 3 of my top 15 movies, Pulp, Gump, and Shawshank, and my favorite animated movie, Lion King, and 2 of my favorite comedies, True Lies and Dumb and Dumber."
For me, it's 94. Always has been, because not only do you have Forrest Gump, you have Pulp Fiction, you have, I believe, one of the greatest masterpieces ever in cinema, Shawshank Redemption. Lion King, one of the undisputed best animated films of all time. True Lies is my favorite action
it's so
film of
great.
all time.
Love that movie.
Dumb and Dumber is an automatic classic, but it didn't end there. Listen, these are the other films that came out in that same year, okay? The original Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yes.
That movie's awesome. That movie's hilarious. Clear and Present Danger. I love that movie. Speed is a Hollywood icon classic. I mean, whether you love it or hate it, everybody knows Speed. I love another Jim Carrey film, The Mask. I love the first Mask.
When I liked Cameron Diaz.
Yes, when in fact she
When
was.
you didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
That was her first.
Legends of the Fall. I love With Honors. Major League 2. One of my guilty pleasure movies is The Shadow with Alec Baldwin. That was out that year. The Crow, Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born
I mean,
Killers.
94.
Bullets Over Broadway, which
Bullets
was
Over Broadway.
best Woody Allen movie.
94 was a
Yeah.
crazy year for film. And, you know, it's hard to tell how good of a year it is in film until you get about 5, 6, 7 years down the road from it. But like 94 is amazing.
Yeah.
Any of you guys, any others?
Well, I agree. 1977 was probably one of the most epic years because obviously of Star Wars, but you also have Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Annie Hall, which is
Hall.
my favorite comedy ever. You have Saturday Night Fever, which is a great,
Icon
great
movie.
film.
Yeah.
There was another one that I wrote down. Pumping Iron came out in 1977,
Really?
which is the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary, which if you haven't seen, you should see this movie because it's, anyway.
One of my favorite
So
parts.
mean.
Arnold, do you drink skim milk? Milk is for babies. Men drink beer.
Yeah.
As he's curling
His
his thing.
arm is like the size of my
Milk
torso.
is for babies.
And
Men
then
drink beer.
Smokey and the Bandit came out in 1977, which is a great
Yay!
film. 77 is a great year. Also, 1999 is another good one.
is a good year.
Off the top of my head, I know like Matrix came out in 99, and I wrote it down. Being John
Phantom
Malkovich.
Menace.
Yeah, Phantom Menace.
Phantom
came out.
Menace, Magnolia, The Insider.
Yeah.
There was a lot of great movies in 99 also. So.
All right, I got 1982
Yes.
for me. Conan came
Yep.
out. Blade Runner.
Yes.
An Officer and a Gentleman for the romantic
That,
types.
people forget about them. That's a great movie.
Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan.
Yes, I
love
The
that
movie.
Thing.
Great
and
movie.
Tron.
Oh my God,
Wow,
that
was
was a
that
really
summer?
good year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good year.
Amy Rose?
Yeah, I feel like 94 just sweeps it because in every single genre you're represented.
Great
And
animation,
also,
great comedy,
Quiz
great
show
comedy.
was that year
Yes.
too, which
Quiz
was
show.
so
Yeah,
good.
Quiz Show was so
So
good.
I just feel like sure there's a lot of great films in all the years we mentioned, but that one literally every single genre is represented, and that speaks to my own heart. So I would definitely go 94.
All right, what's next?
Jamal Taylor writes, "Hey guys at AMC Movie Talk, I was wondering, will we ever get a Knocked Up sequel? I love the film, and even though that This Is 40 was very entertaining and enjoyable. Keep up the good work."
This Is 40 was awful. I wanted to like This Is 40 so bad. I'm not quite sure what This Is 40 has to do with Knocked Up, but Knocked Up was actually kind of a pleasant surprise for me because I wasn't wholeheartedly sold on Seth Rogen yet at that point. But it was, how funny is Kristen Wiig?
Yeah,
I mean, she's
incredible.
got that small little
So
part
good.
in it, but she totally
She
steals
steals the whole movie.
steals the movie.
Per usual.
Tighten it back up.
And of course, you've got
Katherine Heigl.
well, Katherine Heigl, but the girl plays her sister.
Oh, Leslie Mann.
Yeah, Leslie
Yeah.
Mann. I'm a big fan of hers.
Yeah.
I've loved her ever since she was in George of the Jungle. That goes way back. But I don't think so. I
No.
mean, I don't think. First of all, I don't think Rogen and Heigl actually like each other very much.
Well,
and I know Heigl really pissed off the producers because a lot of things she said after the movie about the movie. So Rogen has got his plate completely full.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
For all those reasons alone, let alone whether I think it would even be worth it, just those reasons alone makes it really improbable. Do you guys think anything other?
No, well, and This Is 40, that's the same couple. Like the couple,
Yeah.
it's just we're
Yes,
seeing the couple
yes.
later.
So it was,
and-
There's a pseudo sequel.
Exactly, and Katherine Heigl is notably absent from that film, so I think there's definitely some bad blood there. So I don't see how they would make a sequel
And
without her.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a need for it. I mean,
No.
I really like the film as well, but I'm not the biggest Katherine Heigl fan. I kind of think she's a one-trick pony, but I actually really liked her in this movie.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like the odd couple, but it worked in terms of the comedic timing. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, but you're right. That was kind of like the pseudo sequel. It was, which I thought was clever, taking characters from here, exploring their life, but it also didn't work for me. I really wanted to like it because I liked their chemistry a lot, but
Yeah.
it was a boring script for the
Knocked
most
up
part.
again.
Knocked
Like
up
I said.
again.
Re-knocked up.
Knocked up,
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Best Leslie Mann film in a best Leslie Mann moment in a film
Oh, it's got to be.
is
I know you're going to say. I hope you're
40-Year-Old
gonna-
Virgin. I'll still have
Let's
sex with you
get
if you
some
want.
effing French toast. That
I'm
line.
hungry.
That's Elizabeth Banks' film too.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
so good in that.
She was good in
Okay,
that.
all right. Well, folks, I said that we would leave a little bit of time at the end for your live questions, and we're going to do just that. Once again, maybe you got some time just to sneak one in under the wire. Tweet us at AMC Movie News. Chris Lee is the gatekeeper. She decides your fate. So, Chris Lee, what do we have?
John Matamoros wants to know, who's the better comedy duo, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, or James Franco and Seth Rogen?
Tatum, and Jonah Hill. Yeah, that's.
I'm going with Franco and Rogan. They've been in more films together. They make me laugh. It's more consistent.
I think they've done more together, but I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say Tatum and Hill have better chemistry ultimately on screen.
If that question were asked before I saw 22 Jump Street, I probably would say, because I'm very happy with both of those comedic teamings. Very happy. This is the End is awesome.
Right.
But after seeing 22 Jump Street, I got to stick with Jonah Hill and
This
Tatum.
is really hard. That's a really, really
It's a
good
great
question.
question.
After 22, because Channing Tatum, you don't think he'd be good at comedy, and he's so good at comedy. Jonah Hill's proven time and again. Now I want to see him do more dramatic as well. But I like the Franco Rogan as well, because Franco is so subtle, while Rogan is so he's just a physical actor as well with his facial expression. So I like them both, but after 22, I also would inch that way a little bit more.
All right, what's next?
Brian Healy says the DiCaprio-Scorsese duo is always talked about, but what are your thoughts on the Fassbender McQueen pairing? I think it's cinematic gold.
I mean, well, okay, let's start by saying they need a few more films under their belt to get there, but they're on the right track. The other thing is with the DiCaprio-Scorsese thing, it's always DiCaprio is the lead in the Scorsese film, and that hasn't always been the case with Fassbender. But if they make 3 or 4 more films together, I think you're going to be saying those names right up there with saying Scorsese, De Niro, Scorsese, DiCaprio. I think it could be, but they need more under their belt. How do you guys see it?
But those two, bam. They really were gold. And Fassbender...
It almost looked like a nut shot you were doing there. That was kind of low.
Just saying. Shame. It's relevant.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But Shame was so haunting. You know, it wasn't just this sex addict, Californication sex addict. It was
and I like Californication.
I know, but I'm just saying it was real and it was
dark.
haunting and it was dark and it was just masterful. That's when I was like, Fassbender is here to stay for a long time. He's on his way to icon status. And 12 years, I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, he was so good at
they
that.
make gold together. I'm so excited for the next project.
What do you guys think?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's all been
definitely.
said. I mean,
I love their combination. They work really well together, and I can't wait to see more from both of them together.
All right, what's
Fassbender,
next?
everything.
Robert Long wants to know if you would prefer Lex Luthor to take a main role, or would you prefer the Batman-Superman relationship to be the main role in Man of Steel?
This is an easy one.
I made a video last summer called 5 Keys to Batman vs. Superman Being Good. And this is before we knew Lex Luthor was going to be in it. This is before we knew Ben Affleck was going to be in it. This is before we knew any of this stuff. And one of the things I said, one of the points was that Lex Luthor has to be there.
Yeah.
Because Lex Luthor, regardless of the size of the role, he is the yin to Superman's yang. It's almost like part of who and what Superman is a little bit defined by his relationship to Lex Luthor. He's got to at least be there. But the other point I made in that 5 Things video was that you have to keep the emphasis on the dynamic and what's going on between Batman and Superman. I don't care if you throw in Wonder Woman. I don't care if you throw in a cameo by Cyborg or cameo by Aquaman or cameo by anybody, Lex Luthor, whatever. That's all fine, as long as the Hogs value of the whole movie is focused on Batman and Superman. So I would say for this film, have Luthor there. Obviously, he's going to be because we know who's playing him. But keep it. Don't keep it super small, but keep it as the side thing. Keep the main thing on Batman and Superman. That's how I see it. What do you guys?
Yeah, I agree fully.
It has to be that way. He's such a rich character. He shouldn't be in the shadow as well. And I mean, we've all talked about this so many times. We want this to still be Superman's movie, right? Batman's coming in. That's great. It's going to be an epic battle.
I don't want it to be Superman's movie.
Well, I wanted a Man of Steel
Batman
sequel.
and Superman's
I wanted
movie.
a straight Man of Steel sequel.
I don't know if this
I wanted
is
Superman.
technically
It's
the
not,
sequel.
because then we saw Nikki Finks' baby. So we'll see how that unfolds. But I don't want this to feel too overcrowded, and I do think cameos are the way. And if he is, his greatest foe, I want that to be built up slowly but surely. So he is super menacing.
Superman and Batman, if you see the animated films that Warner's done in the last few years, when they do Superman, Batman, Public Enemies or whatever, they're so fun together because they kind of have this combative relationship, and I would love to see that in live action. I want to see Batman and Superman be like brothers. Be
We'll get there.
I need you, but I hate you.
They're going to hug it out.
Yeah.
How Luthor's going to play in is him and Wayne are going to come together. That's my guess. It just makes sense after the destruction of Metropolis. And then, Batman will fight Superman, and then they'll team up and be pals, and fight Luthor and what else.
I should point out, too, that our next AMC Versus is actually going to be Batman versus Superman. That's going to be our AMC Versus that we're going to be recording later today. So keep your eye on that. Okay, let's do 2 more really quick.
David Bannister wants to know how Harrison Ford's injuries will affect the new Star Wars.
I think very little. We've seen. Look. This actually happens a lot, where one of the actors gets injured, or in the case of Avengers, one of the actors gets pregnant, or whatever. You work around it. You rearrange schedules. You shoot B today instead of A today. Whatever. Right. They'll be fine. They'll work around this. I don't think it's going to have any impact at all.
If it was, they would have probably announced it. They would have said something like he's very injured. They were like, he hurt his ankle. Yeah, no big deal.
No running shots for Han Solo this week.
Like, seriously, when I saw the quote-unquote news that Harrison Ford hurt his ankle come out, I was like, the way people were like jumping on this was like, oh my gosh, Harrison Ford in hospital. It was like there was some, intruder on the set of Star Wars who injected the Ebola virus into his ankle or something. He hurt his ankle.
That's a good storyline right there.
Yeah, that is a good storyline. But he'll be fine, and they'll work around it.
And how much action scenes is he really going to have? And he's in his 70s. Like, I'm sorry.
He's gonna shoot his laser gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew,
His
pew, pew.
laser sword.
I was
maybe.
gonna say.
Although, did you see that cool picture they tweeted? I don't know if he tweeted it out or that he put out of him standing at his Harrison Ford director's chair, holding a white piece of paper that just said, "I shot first." That was awesome.
I don't know if that's real though, because that white piece, that little thing, that's been changed like 5 or 6 times.
Dreams.
The other one was like, a door fell on me, I'm okay. They're just like scrubbing it out. They're like, so I don't know if Han Solo has a goatee.
I have to look into that.
Yeah, I think that could have been
that.
like from a year ago before he was even playing Han Solo.
like
We don't know if he's
though.
fresh shaved or whatever.
Wow.
Everyone was like, Han
Pardon me.
Solo's got a goatee. It's like, I don't know. I think that's
All right,
what I
last
thought.
question of the day.
Paul De La Rosa wants to know if you've heard anything new about the Luke Evans Crow reboot.
Sorry, the Luke Evans what reboot?
Crow?
yeah.
Just that it's happening. I mean, we've talked about this a lot of times on AMC Movie Talk. I think Luke Evans is a great choice. There was some talk about Tom Hiddleston, and that I would have been really happy with that casting too. But I think Luke Evans is great. Ironically enough, they also just released today the first poster for his new Dracula film, which actually it's a pretty good looking poster. I don't know if the movie's going to be any good. Poster looks pretty good, but I love Luke Evans as a performer. I think he's going to be great. I've said this before. I will say it again. I don't know if the movie will be better than the original Crow.
Can never be.
Luke Evans will give a better performance than Brandon Lee did.
Whoa.
Yeah, he will. He will. I know that. I know everyone likes to cry but it's.
I'm not crying,
No,
but
it's just.
whoa.
Let's be honest. Brandon, look at all of his films. Brandon Lee was beloved and from every account an awesome human being and all this kind of stuff, but he was not a great actor.
John, blasphemy. The Crow is awesome.
I'm not
You're
saying it's
wrong.
not. I'm not saying it's
He's
not.
great as the Crow.
The Crow. He is the Crow.
If he
became
didn't
the
die,
Crow. That's what
there would have been
happened.
another
I
Crow
know
and another
so
Crow.
many people get mad at me when I say that.
I'm not mad. You're just wrong. That's all. He's an awesome actor.
You'll learn. I am never wrong.
But it is
Except for
happening.
when I am.
And this happens to be
It's
one of those
subjective.
times.
I am never
My
wrong.
opinion, he's
can't-
amazing as a
Except for
Crow.
when I am.
I think I'm like a lot of people. I'm sure he's going to be great. I'm so emotionally connected to
Sure, lots
Brandon
of
Lee.
people are.
I love that movie and I love him. So
It really will be
it's
interesting.
He has a big job.
But the funny thing is, as we age, and every year we hear about movies coming out, what year they came out, and this is the 20th anniverary of this movie,
Yeah.
whatever, and then we start to feel really old.
Yeah.
There are a lot of film goers say they've never seen the original Crow.
Oh God.
Right.
I mean, isn't that
true.
warped?
Yeah, they don't even know who Alex Proyas is. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
that's
mean,
a director
it's-
that you should know his
Yeah,
movies.
it's really, really weird when you think about that term, but it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
That's a really intense film to jump into, though. Like Luke Evans, after The Hobbit, I'm not going to lie, he was really, really good.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
he is turning me around. But yeah, with all of that, like
The
that's
lore.
an eerie thing. And you're wrong about
Well,
this.
demand, you know
No,
what?
I gotta cut it. I gotta cut us off. We've
needs
gone
a
way
hard
over
reboot.
time.
That's all I can say.
We've gone way over time. Thank you so
Brandon
much,
Lee.
guys, for joining us today for AMC Movie Talk. Don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC theaters right now. Head on over to www.amc theaters to grab your tickets, your theater, and your showtime information. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, click on that subscribe button, become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel, and click the thumbs up button on this video as well. It's just a neat way of telling us and everybody else that you like the videos that we're doing. Also, if you want an audio-only version of this show, look in the description of this video and you'll find links to our iTunes podcast feed so you can just listen to us on the way to work. I want to thank this amazing panel sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting to my left, Senior Editor of Movie News here at AMC Movie News, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, where can people find you online?
On Twitter and Instagram at Amy Rosie. Thanks so much.
And of course, to my right, starting with Miri Jedikin. Miri, where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Miri the Jedi.
And of course, writer, director, and freshly back from London, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
Can't talk about London, John. Gag order.
On Twitter and Instagram at John Schnepp.
And of course, our gatekeeper today, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Chrisley and on YouTube, The Movie Chick with 2 Ks.
And you can find me on the various social media networks just at John Campea. Thanks a lot, guys. Forza Italia. My name's John Campea for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.